Okay, we'll commence now. Good afternoon, everybody. It looks like the weather may have started to delay the arrival of some people, but hopefully everybody will be here during the course of today's luncheon. So I'd like to again welcome you all to today, including our PNC and PMEA members and our marketing partners. Welcome to the 71st Luncheon. My name is Ian, and I hope that you all have an enjoyable and informative time with us today. Before I start, I just want to make an apology. Sometimes I've pronounced people's names wrong or a company wrong, and I suppose I'm sorry that it's happened. It's a little bit like my own name. My name is Ian, I-A-N. My parents taught me that my name was Ian, but when I arrived in the Philippines, I found out it was actually Ian. So we all say things differently from time to time. Just before we get going, I would like to mention and thank our valued marketing partners. For without these companies' assistance, the luncheon would not be possible. First up, our supporting partners, Major Drilling, and Major Drilling is represented here today by Daniel Paradis, the General Manager. Are you there, Daniel? If I call your name, could you just stand up and let the audience acknowledge your presence? Hexagon, Imdex. Imdex is represented by John June, the Technical Sales Manager. Are you here, John? The weather's obviously caught a few people out. Power Riders, represented by Bruce Podesta, the Project Operation Manager. Are you here, Bruce? Okay, I'll keep on going. Drill Corp, represented by Ken Wilkes. Ken? All right. Next up is Cruz, Marcelo and Penifrancia. Sorry. And next up is Fortune, Navasa and Salazar. Ollie Consulting Group, Resource Comms, Carillion Partners, and our foundation partner is Weir Minerals. Weir Minerals delivers end-to-end solutions for all mining, transportation, milling, processing and waste management activities. They are represented today by Alex Evaristo, the Country Manager. Are you here, Alex? Okay, we'll continue. Our principal partners, OSCI Geophysical Consultants. OSCI advise and guide for geophysical exploration programs being carried out in the mining and metals sector, as well as the coal sector. OSCI Geophysical Consultants also provide a wide range of services to the environmental group, groundwater and engineering industries. They are represented today by Jusanmad Mahad Singh. Welcome. QED, Quest Exploration Drilling. Asia's leading exploration drilling company, modern equipment with well-trained staff, has elevated QED to become the benchmark for international standard drilling operations in terrain that is generally typified by logistical constraints, geological complexities and the topographical extremes. Our next is GHC. Since 1998, GHC has served the water, power, transportation and land development infrastructure in the Philippines. It has committed to support the private and public sectors in addressing the infrastructure needs in the country by using technical knowledge and the latest digital tools and resources to deliver integrated planning, design, environmental, construction management, advisory and digital services. It provides clients with an ethical and intelligent way of doing infrastructure projects. GHC's offices in Metro Manila and Cebu are home to more than 800 employees. These consist of architects, engineers, environmental and social scientists, drafters and modellers, geologists, management professionals and experienced support personnel. They are represented today by Ronald Arciel and Manny Enchanta. S&P Global Marketing Intelligence. S&P Global Market Intelligence integrates financial and industry data, research and news into tools that help track performance, generate alpha, identify investment ideas, understand competitive and industry dynamics, perform evaluation and asset risk. Their deep sector coverage provides a comprehensive view of the mining sector worldwide and connects you to global opportunities on a single platform. Stay on top of the fast evolving mining sector and evaluate opportunities and risks with essential data, analytics and insights. The most trusted global mining sector data all in one place. That's the power of S&P Capital IQ Pro. They are represented by Alex De Leon, who is the commodities product specialist. Our supreme partner, Terragrel Geological and Geotechnics Construction Inc. In 2020, Terragrel Geology and Geotechnics Construction Inc. was founded to provide expert geotechnical engineering services and combat grand environmental challenges in earth science across the Philippines. Since then, the company has massively grown, delivers tailor-made solutions to clients of all sizes in various industries. Their powerhouse team consists of geotechnical engineers, geologists, civil engineers and environmental specialists with widespread experience and expertise across a broad range of geotechnical and environmental aspects. From site investigation to geophysical surveys and ground improvement to foundation construction works, Terragrel provides practical and cost-effective solutions with high-level precision and utmost care for everything related to rocks, soil and ground. They are represented today by Cristal Aquino Pajado, who is the Creative Marketing Director. Our industry partners, Oceana Gold, represented by attorney Joanne Catalin, who is the President and General Manager. Santa Clara International Corp, represented by Charmaine King, who is the Business Development and Marketing Officer. We thank you all for your continuous support. The Philippine Mining Club is also affiliated with the Melbourne Mining Club, which is Australia's leading mining club, and CHAM, the Australian and New Zealand Chamber of Commerce, PMEA, the Philippines Mining and Exploration Association, represented by Joey Ason, the President, COMP, the Chamber of Mines of the Philippines, PMSEA, the Philippine Mine Safety and Environmental Association, IWATA, and Yarman Philippines. Our media partner is the Philippine Resources and Construction Journal. They are represented by Marcelo Villegas, who is a journalist, and Miriam Salan, Marketing Officer. The Manila Times, represented by Bella Cariaso, who is a journalist. Not here. Okay. Right, ladies and gentlemen, now to get to one of the more important people in the program, our MC. So I'd like to introduce you to our MC, Attorney Patricia A.O. Bunye. Ladies and gentlemen, may I say a few words about our MC today, Attorney Patricia Bunye. Attorney Patricia Bunye is a Senior Partner and the Deputy Managing Partner for Administration of Cruz, Marcelo and Kenneth Francia. She heads the Mining and Natural Resources Department and the Energy Practice Group. She is also a partner in the Intellectual Property Department. She is a past president of the Licensing Executives Society International, better known as LESI, from 2016 to 2017. She is the first Filipino and Southeast Asian to hold this position. She is also founding president of the Wate Women in Resource Development Inc., a non-government organisation that advocates responsible development of the Philippines' wealth in resources. She is an active member of the Chamber of Mines of the Philippines in the Legal Committee and is a columnist in the Philippine Resource and Construction Journal. She is in the 2020, 2021, 2020, 2019 and 2018 list of Philippines' top 100 lawyers and has been cited by various international law research publications such as Chambers, Legal 500, Asia Law, among many others. Ladies and gentlemen, I now hand you over to our MC for today, Attorney Patricia Bunye.
Thank you very much, Ian, and good afternoon to everyone. I'm happy to be back as your MC at the Mining Luncheon. Before we proceed with our main speaker for this afternoon, I would like to highlight the following. We will be issuing certificates of attendance to those who need them. You can request a copy from Ms. Joan Falcotella. Her email address is joan@philippineminingclub.com. And of course, we will have our usual Q&A after our speaker has made his presentation. I would like to, of course, acknowledge the VIPs in the audience. First, Ms. Charlotte Corbin, Second Secretary, Economics, Australian Embassy, Manila. Welcome, Charlotte. My good friend, Tata Corpus, Business Development Manager, Australian Embassy, Manila. And my new friend, Christopher Lim, Minister, Consular, Commercial, Australia. I'm not sure if she's here yet. Ms. Gladys Baniked, Mashab Officer, Israel Embassy, Manila. not yet here. And although he is not here, I would like to acknowledge the support of Director Wilfredo G. Moncano, Director Mines and Geosciences Bureau of the DNR. And before we proceed to lunch, I would like to introduce the video of our Supreme Partner, Tara Grail. The video will be played as you are all enjoying your lunch, and we will be back momentarily for the stock watch that we all look forward to before the main presentation. Good afternoon once again. Now to our main event. Please allow me to say a few words about our speaker today. Attorney Jonas R. Leones is the Undersecretary for Policy, Planning, and International Affairs of the Department of Environment and Natural Resources. He has more than 28 years of experience in various technical, legal, and managerial capacities under the DENR. He currently serves as the Undersecretary for Policy, Planning, and International Affairs of the Department with a Career Executive Service Officer rank 1. He also supervises the Department's Foreign Assisted and Special Projects Service. The Department Secretary recently named him as the Department's spokesman. He further coordinates all international environmental concerns, including implementation of international environmental treaties and participation in international bodies and conferences. His office published the book, International Agreements on Environment and Natural Resources in 2016. He also serves as the Philippine focal point in the International Review Panel Steering Committee of the United Nations Environment Program. He is also a member of the Pollution Adjudication Board and served as its Secretary and Legal Counsel in concurrent capacity from August 2005 to July 2013. He previously served as Undersecretary for Environment and International Environmental Affairs and concurrent Director of the Environmental Management Bureau. He supervised the implementation of policies and programs on air and water quality, toxic waste and hazardous substances, solid waste management, environmental impact assessment of projects, and climate change. Attorney Leones holds a master's degree in public management from the Lee Kuan Yew School of Public Policy of the National University of Singapore and the Kennedy School of Government, Harvard University, Massachusetts, USA. He obtained his Bachelor of Laws from the New Era University, Quezon City in 2005 and passed the Philippine Bar Examination in 2006. As a full scholar, he finished his master's degree in environmental science from the University of the Philippines, Los Baños, Laguna in 2000, and his Bachelor of Science in Forestry degree in 1990, where he received the College of Forestry Award for Leadership. He garnered 8th place in the Foresters Board Examination in 1991. In 2016, he received the following awards: Outstanding Professional in the Field of Forestry by the Professional Regulation Commission, Outstanding Alumnus of the University of the Philippines, Los Baños School of Environmental Science and Management, and Outstanding Alumnus, University of the Philippines, Los Baños Alumni Association. He is the President of the DNR Association of Career Executives in the Philippines and is a member of the Integrated Bar of the Philippines, Society of Filipino Foresters Incorporated, and Beta Sigma Fraternity. He was born on April 10, 1969 in Bulacan, is married to Mary Ann Leones, and they have 2 sons. It is my privilege to introduce Undersecretary Jonas R. Leones.
to the VIPs present here today, to the members of the Philippine Mining Club, of course, Sarah Gray, to our friends from the media, a pleasant good afternoon. I'm so sorry for that generous introduction. It's very long, but I hope you are not bored for that introduction. But anyway, before I present my do my presentation, I would like to extend the congratulations of our Secretary Maria Antonia Yulo Loizaga. This is really timely that we should have this kind of gathering so that the department can clarify some policies and some confusion as regards to our prioritization, the prioritization of our program. And one of the priorities really coming up with a viable mining industry roadmap. So, without further ado, may I start my presentation. The mining industry contribution in recent years has plummeted to less than 1% of the country's gross domestic product. Thus, the resurgence of the Philippine mining industry is long overdue. To ensure that stakeholder socioeconomic conditions improve, we must increase mining production value, taxes, fees, royalties, employment, and linkages. We envision to transform our mining industry into one that is responsible, environmentally friendly, globally competitive, and a significant contributor to the national economy, thereby improving people's and country's welfare. The Philippines is blessed with both metallic and non-metallic minerals. Out of our land area of 30 million hectares, around 9 million hectares have high mineral potential. Out of this, approximately 2.39% or 717,000 hectares are covered by mining contracts and permits. And out of this figure, about 0.27% or about 81,000 hectares are active mining areas. Several factors contributed to the mining industry's decline following the gold boom period. However, reforms are underway to revitalize mining as a pro-people and pro-environment vehicle for sustaining wealth creation and improving our people's quality of life. And I have the pleasure to mention some of them. Through the Department of Environment and Natural Resource Administrative Order 2018-13, the Department lifted the moratorium on the acceptance, processing, and approval of exploration permits. And as of mid-2022, may I inform the body that at least 35 exploration permits have already been issued. In April 2021, to bankroll our country's post-pandemic recovery, Executive Order 130 was issued and lifted the nationwide moratorium on the issuance of new mining permits imposed in 2012 by the preceding president, thereby opening the door to sustainable mineral resources development, and since then, 2 mineral agreements have been executed. In December 2021, the ban on open pit mining was lifted. This will allow 3 large-scale open pit mines to proceed. Meanwhile, under the strict implementation of the use it or lose it policy on non-moving tenements and applications, at least 3,888 mining applications were already denied. While we envision a robust mining industry, it will not be business as usual, as it was in the pre-moratorium times when a few environmental mining disasters stigmatized the entire industry. Rather, it will be more environmentally and socially responsible business. Thus, we pursue the following. We have established maximums for the areas that mining companies may disturb and require them to perform temporary revegetation and progressive rehabilitation. As of June 2022, the total maximum disturbed area for 33 nickel mines in the country is about 1,874 hectares. We have revegetated 540 hectares, while 5,745 hectares have undergone progressive rehabilitation. We strengthened the implementation of the Mining Forest Program and the National Greening Program for the rehabilitation and revegetation of the mine house and other areas, and the establishment of the Bamboo Plantation Program. As of June 2022, over 47 million seedlings had been planted in 36,273 hectares of mine house and other areas, with survival rate of 90%. All mining contractors and permit holders were instructed to establish bamboo plantations equivalent to at least 20% of their mine out areas based on the disturbed area in their 3-year development utilization work program. As of 2021, mining companies have committed a total of 4,368.24 hectares for bamboo plantations. Under our mine rehabilitation program, 11 abandoned mines are being addressed by our Mines and Geoscience Bureau. We have also embedded MGB personnel in our provincial and community environment and natural resource offices, or PENROS and CENROS. As of June 2022, 123 geologists and mining engineers have been assigned to the PENROS and CENROS, which for year have issued 59 cease and desist orders and filed 4 cases with the prosecutor's office. The Mining Industry Coordinating Council has conducted an objective, fact-finding, and science-based review of 45 large-scale surface metallic mining companies, assessing their performance on technical, legal, social, environmental, and economic aspects. Of the 45, we found out that the 4 were excellent benchmarks for future mining entrants, 24 needed minor reforms, and 50 needed major reforms, while only 2 got a poor rating. Still ongoing is the review of the 22 non-metallic mines nationwide and of 4 large-scale metallic mines in the Bangsamoro Autonomous Region in Muslim Mindanao. Annually, 45 mining mineral processing exploration companies are being subjected to audit to assess compliance with the terms and conditions of their contracts, permits, and their management of mine safety, health, environment, and social development. Rather than deterring mining application, these environmental protection initiatives have restored confidence in the industry and its prospects. As of April 2022, when we had 717 mining rights covering 734.4 hectares, we had another 1,377 applications under processing covering over 4.23 million hectares. These figures tell us that the industry is poised for tremendous growth. What are our directions going forward? The DNR through its MGB, will promote the development of mineral processing and value-adding enterprises, noting that as of mid-2022, we have only 1 copper smelter, 2 nickel processing plants, and 4 gold processing plants. Our mining industry development program calls for a strict adherence to responsible mining standards, technical viability, economic feasibility, social acceptability, and compliance with environmental laws, rules, and regulations. Under our Mineral Investment Promotion Program, we will address illegal mining through the declaration of the Minahang Bayan areas, where small-scale mining will be allowed but regulated. As of today, as of July 2022, we have already 53 declared Minahang Bayan nationwide. We will undertake geological mapping to complete the geologic survey and mapping of the entire country, which should expand our geoscientific and mineral information database. As we all know, the mining sector has been subjected to persistent misinformation that has stigmatized the industry. This is why we will also carry out and vigorously implement our communications plan for mineral resources and geosciences development. Our policy directions include the design of mineral extraction models with minimal environmental footprint, the identification of new mineral reserves, and the use of technological support for decision making. The bidding out within 3 years of national government mining assets, such as those under the Philippine Mining Development Corporation, the development and expansion of roads, power, and other infrastructure support to mineralized areas through the Department of Public Works and Highways, the construction of modular processing plants, such as those for steel and nickel. The conduct of studies on mine rehabilitation, the reuse of mining waste and tailings, and acid mine drain management, the integration of the small-scale mining sector in the industry, and the strict implementation of mining firms of their safety and health program, environmental protection enhancement program, mining, final mine rehabilitation and or decommissioning plan, and social development management program. We will also push for laws mandating the establishment of a mineral smelting plant and refining facility to expand export of value-added mineral products, the establishment of an iron-making industry and nickel refineries, and the amendment of the Philippine Mining Act of 1995 and the People's Small-Scale Mining Act of 1991. Incidentally, in 2020, the 2014 moratorium on energy exploration in the West Philippine Sea was lifted. This is significant, not just for energy security. Our mining law has provisions for offshore mining, but substantial investments in this area are still being awaited. Our potential offshore mineral resources include gold, chromite, magnetite iron, silica, manganese in offshore Palawan, aggregates, manganese nodules and crustaceans with associated copper, gold, zinc, and cobalt. There is also a potential for polymetallic nodules offshore in the Philippine rice. May I also add that there is a nexus between forestry and mining. They do not necessarily repel each other. While our mining law prohibits mining in gold growth or virgin forests and proclaimed watershed reserves, we have crafted the mining forestry program for the rehabilitation of mined-out areas by reforesting them with indigenous propagures. Moving forward, let me emphasize that not all of the programs and reforms I have just stated can be delivered overnight. For instance, those mandating the establishment of value-adding processing facilities will require the passage of laws. Therefore, to accelerate the process, we will need to work together and hopefully achieve a reasonable consensus with other stakeholders. Incidentally, earlier this month, we also had the DENR Multi-Stakeholder Forum where we solicited the perspectives of the private sector, civil society organizations and non-government organizations, the academy, consistent with the issues of governance philosophy that all stakeholders should participate in the formulation and implementation of the policies, programs, and activities. Thank you once again for this opportunity of sharing with the mining industry our vision of how economic growth can be pursued within the context of sustainable development. Together, let us improve upon the exciting prospects that await ahead. I hope I did not confuse you, but by my presentation, at least you will all see the prospects of investing in these sectors. Mabuhay, magandang umaga. Ako kahapon po sa inyo lahat.
We'll now open the floor for questions to Undersecretary Jonas. Yes, Joey Aizon.
Good afternoon, Usec. Thank you for that very wonderful talk, and I think it's the first time we had some guidance, no, on what the new policy should be for this administration. My question or clarification is this: a good mining environment also relies on stable laws, fiscal regimes, and you mentioned that you might be looking at revising the Philippine Mining Act. So there might be some kind of hesitance again for investors to come in. Like the Philippine Mining Act, as far as I'm concerned, is a very excellent law. It studied all the mining acts in the world, and I'm sure Director Muico would be able to say that because it was in his term that they drafted the Mining Act. So it would send a wrong or some confusing signal if you change or you revise the Mining Act, and also in relation to this, what are the policies that would be implemented so that stable rules and regulations are in place for all stakeholders in the industry?
You said before you answer, it was something also that I wanted to ask as my own question, this issue of stability. Because in the past few years, I think that's something that all investors wanted to see. Because there was a period of, again, that may be characterized as confusion or ambiguity in the policies.
Thank you, Ms. Tricia. Thank you to Joey for that question. Let me answer first the amendment of the Philippine Mining Act. Actually, this Mining Act was passed in 1991. So it is not only the Mining Act that needs revision, but in fact all environmental laws need revision. The Clean Water, Clean Air. These are mostly laws existing for 20 years already. So there might be a need to really revisit mining laws, but not exactly making it difficult for the mining or investment for the mining sector. But basically, we need to identify some other technologies that which can enhance our operations in the mining areas. On the issue of, on the concern of Ms. Tricia on the stability of the mining or fiscal policy regime, yes, I agree. It has become a challenge in our office or the department because every administration, as you would know, there are priorities in the government. Like for us, in the previous administrations, we experienced the wrath of the pandemic that we need to boost our economy to recover our economy. So the Philippine government and the Congress are really looking for some sources on how we can recover from the result of the pandemic. But of course, I agree with Ms. Tricia that there is really a need to make it to stabilize the policy in the department when it comes to mining. But it is not only true in the mining sector, but in other industries, in other sectors, same thing happens. So I think the Secretary is aware of this. And in fact, he is advocating this fiscal mining regime. And I remember the Philippine Chamber of Mines reached the Secretary and assured the mining chambers that whatever changes in the fiscal regime will be consulted with you guys, with the mining and the Philippine mining chambers or the mining companies before we propose something to Congress or to the President. So that's my answer.
Any other questions or comments? Yes.
Good afternoon, Secretary. I was listening to the presentation, and I think it is clear that the sector has done a lot. But I guess what the investors are after now is
what are the specific supports in terms of policy? Can the department improve? Because it has been a long time that the mining sector has been in the downdraft. So that's one. And second, perhaps, my first question is policies that could support investors. Second is, in terms of Mining Act, it says that the amendment, I guess the Mining Act is not totally understood. Because during the time that this Mining Act was approved, there was a lack of information education campaign. And in fact, they did not understand how that was structured. It took us 8 years to come out with the Mining Act. And all the mining laws all over the world were taken into consideration. So I guess what we should look at is from the DENR side to improve the environmental rules and regulations. That's where we can strengthen it. Because to amend the law is not easy. In fact, to have it approved is worse, more difficult. So those are the two aspects that I would like to ask the Secretary to perhaps give some little insight with the present DENR Secretary. And last but not the least is on the taxation. I cannot understand why the move is always to increase taxes. When we reduce the taxes, the reason for that is to level the playing field. Because you have to look at the taxes paid by all mining companies on by the countries around us. The important issue is we have to give more incentive, reduce the taxes, so we can increase investors. If our taxes are high in the region, nobody will come here. What will we tax if there is no investor that is going to invest? So that is the chicken or egg issue. We want to tax because we want to get more from the mining industry. Why don't we lessen the tax and increase the investors? So that's putting it in the so-called grain scale. So I want to request the Undersecretary if he could give us some sort of insight. Because we understand that the present Secretary is not well versed in our industry. You can meet the Chamber of Mines, you can meet some of the consultants. But after the meeting, what? Thank you.
Thank you, sir, for that 3 questions. Number 1, about the policy, stability of the policy. As I presented a while ago, there are a lot of changes in the policy. One is the lifting of the use of the open pit mining. It's a very welcome development to the mining sector, especially for the 3 big mining big mining operations that we're expecting to operate this year. No? And second, I think we have lifted already the acceptance of applications for exploration permit. And then we're accepting now again the applications for new mining operations, mining tenements, which when these things are suspended, were suspended in the previous administration, these things have really affected the mining sector. But now, in the current administration, I think we will be observing these policies to make sure that the operation of the mining companies, or the mining sector will be perfectly operationalized. And rest assured that under the administration of Secretary Loizaga, we will try to make as much as possible stability of our policies in terms of the mining sector. I think that's one thing that we can assure the members of the Philippine Mining Club. On the second issue on revision of the Mining Act, while it is true that there are beautiful features in the Mining Act, But I think everybody will agree that even age, even all of us age, no? And then perhaps Mining Act, I think, is due for revisiting. Maybe not because we have to consider the trade-offs also. There might be new technologies, new practices that can be included in the revised Mining Act, but it is really to pressure or make the life of the mining companies difficult. But we need to improve and we need to be efficient, and perhaps by amending the Mining Act, we can address these things. But rest assured, whatever actions or whatever amendments that will be done in the new Mining Act, the chamber or the mining companies or the mining sector will also be consulted so that whatever outcome of the revision will also be beneficial to the industry. On the third, about the taxes, Ms. Tricia, I think it's not the DNR who really decides on the taxes. That's the reason why we need to really collaborate and then convince the Congress and perhaps other legislators and other oversight agencies that it is not only the mining that can contribute to the economic recovery, but there are other sectors that we really can get other sources aside from the mining. But of course, we should not be killing the goose that lays the golden egg, you know. So I think the department is with you, and we support you whatever is good for the industry. If at least we can, we should be balancing, you know. If the Congress and the President will tax again the Mining Act, maybe we can represent you and then we can explain together our situations on why we should not be taxing more the mining industry.
Any other questions from the floor? Yes, Attorney Cadillo.
Thank you, Tricia. As Joey said, Sir, Undersecretary, thank you for coming all over to Makati. We know that Quezon City is just some kilometers away, but on a Friday afternoon, and you're heading back to Quezon City from Makati, it's going to be more than the acceptable time. So thank you again, Undersecretary. I have two questions. I'm also maximizing the opportunity that's presented. The first one is on LGU's buy-in. We totally understand the support that's coming from the national government for the industry. We're just wondering, how are our local government units reacting to the support? No? For example, you've mentioned about small-scale mining. Are they welcoming this development of setting up minahang bayans in their areas? So that's the first one, because I think there's no doubt that we are enjoying a lot of support from the national government. But of course, when we go to the ground, we have to deal with our local government units also. And the second one, sir, is that we've heard a lot about climate change and resiliency as a focus for our secretary and this administration. So I'm wondering whether the department already has some specific initiatives or changes that they would make and introduce in our operations in support of this focus and priority of the government. Thank you.
For the number one question, the reaction of the local government units on the support of the national government to mining sector. My answer is it really varies. You know? There are local governments that really support the mining companies, but there are, like in your locality perhaps, in your areas, there are lots of local government units that may not be supporting the mining sector. But be that it may, my rule, no, our rule in the legal profession is that the decision of whatever decisions of the local government should be subordinate to the national policy. So if the national government supports the mining companies, operate the mining industry, I believe that the local government should follow also to support the mining industry, because in the long run, it is the national government that will benefit for this support. You know? On the next concern on climate change, the one I presented is that about the forestry sector. We are thus marrying, in the past, these sectors are really colliding, but now we found ways on how we can maximize the partnership of the mining sector and the forestry sector. In the mine out area, we are now requesting assistance from the forestry sector to plan the mining areas, to serve areas in such a way that we can measure the carbon stocks of these trees. And then second, the priority of the Secretary is to really identify the strategic mineral, in terms of contributing to some product, like for example, because strategic minerals are very crucial, especially in the war in Ukraine. They will be needing minerals our strategic minerals to use in their weaponry. So, but again, the most important thing there is we're trying to rehabilitate those disturbed areas in the progressive rehabilitation. Is a very important innovation in the department, because for the longest time, when you are up there in the helicopter chopper, without rehabilitation, you will see the disturbed areas there. That's the reason why I remember President Duterte doesn't want mining, because he saw there the disturbed areas without rehabilitation. But now, implementing this progressive rehabilitation perhaps can be a very good option to address climate change and destruction state.
Thank you, Yusek. Any other questions from the floor? I have one of my own, Yusek. Earlier, you mentioned the misinformation that pervades the industry, and I think this is one of the number one enemies that we have. And considering that our new secretary is a scientist and the basis always would be facts, what would be her initiatives or the department's new initiatives to combat the misinformation against mining?
The initiative of actually the Secretary is very familiar with the mining operation, being at the helm of the Manila Observatory for quite some time, and really familiar with the climate change impact and the resiliency, and one of which is the mining industry. The Secretary's direction now is number one, to have a roundtable discussion about the mining sectors and discuss these things. And we're still coming up with a roadmap for the major three sectors: the mining, the reclamations, and the water sector. These are the three sectors that we need to address. So that's at this point we are there.
Thank you, Sec. And if I may, I have another question. In one of your slides, you referred to the Mineral Industry Development Program. And if I may relate this to the topic of stability again, some years ago, several administrations ago, specifically the time of President Arroyo, I think there was something called the Minerals Development Plan or Minerals Action Plan. Was this a factor in crafting this new mineral industry development program? Because I think one, how would I characterize it? One problem that we have sometimes is we have a lot of plans that never get implemented. One administration plans and drafts something that really looks good on paper, but it never gets off the ground. We have a lot of roadmaps, but they don't take off.
Yeah, it's true. Because at the time, perhaps, I remember the preparation of the roadmap are only being done by the administration or by the government. But in this administration, we want to be inclusive. We want to ensure that all the sectors will participate in the planning or crafting of the roadmap. So that what happens then is it is only the government who prepares the road plan, road plan, roadmap, then we expect that there will be resistance down the road. But if we prepare or formulate the plan, the roadmap, ensuring the participation of the different stakeholders, the chambers, and give them ownership of the plan, I think that will address the concern that it will not be adopted in the ground, on the ground.
Thank you, Usec. Yes, Joe.
I have another follow-up question to Usec Jonas. But before my question, I'd just like to comment on the earlier comment that on IEC. Actually, there's a national IEC program being crafted. So most of the mining companies are going to contribute part of their SCMP as part of the national IEC program. So having said that, my question would be, would the department consider just revising the IRR of some of applications? As you can see, there's only one mining operation that started in the last few years, and it was CVI Balabal. So in a few years' time, we'll run out of resources. There will be no new mines. So my suggestion to you to get more exploration on the road. No? And the problem with this is we have so many guidelines or permits to get an exploration permit. Very early, you're going to have 2 years to explore in the first instance. And you have to get, that's what we discussed with Joseph Jones earlier, free and prior informed consent. That may take you 6 months to a year. And then when you explore for 2 years, you don't find anything and you give it up. So all of this sangguniang panlalawigan consent or something like that, no? So maybe you could just look at the IRR and make it less difficult for explorers to go around the country. You know, we are contractors to the Philippine government. The state owns the mineral resources. So we expect that we can bring in our technical and financial capability, and the state will be our partner to help us develop the natural resources for the Filipino people.
Before I answer the question of Sir Joey, I want to go back to the question a while ago, Tisha, regarding this sector, this industry, the most misinterpreted sector. It's true, because I feel that those who are misinterpreting this industry is an hypocrite. Because in the table, you'll see the glasses and the metals there, and those things are coming from the mining sector. The problem with us is that we do not really invest on massive IEC information campaign. So I think it's not the government who really push for the campaign, no? To convince the people that this industry is viable and supportive of the environmental compliance. It's your group that you should be helping yourself, and then of course with support from the government. Otherwise, if the government will be the one explaining to people, we will be, as a regulator, we cannot do that. So I think it's high time that the mining industry should give more emphasis on our information dissemination campaign so that our people will understand the importance of this sector. Now, answering the question of Sir Joey, that's a problem, no? The implementing rules and regulations, I know the lawyers here will agree with me, that the implementing rules and regulations are really are just being issued by the department. But like, for example, the pre-informed and prior consent, it is a requirement under the IPA law, and we may be needing the support of Congress and legislators to make sure that this will be already an exempt requirement of the mining operations. The key here is that we collaborate and we coordinate with our legislators. I think it is not only the mining sector that's having problem with NCIP. Even our other programs are also having problem with this requirement of pre-informed prior consent. In fact, in one of the projects we have, the interim project and the MVP project, We implemented this for 6 years. Can you imagine, on the first year, we applied for NCIP. And now the project is completing. We have not yet obtained the NCIP clearance. So I think we should make our presence, especially during Congress hearings, so that we can convince the Congress on how we can facilitate things when it comes to mining operations.
Thank you, Yusek. Any other questions from the floor? Yes?
Good day. We are from Miaman, Philippines. We are representatives from Miaman, Philippines. It is a youth organization for advocating sustainable mining. We just want to ask if how can you support, or are there any plans on supporting youth organizations like us in combating misinformation about the mining industry? Thank you.
Actually, it's not only mining issues, but all environmental concerns. The department is now partnering with the Department of Education and trying to come up with a curriculum wherein environmental compliance, different sectors of the department like mining, biodiversity, are now included in that one module. I think we're now progressing. We're now coordinating with the DepEd, and soon we will have a memorandum of agreement with them on how we can inform the youth that these sectors are vital and this can contribute to the economy and this will protect our environment.
Thank you. Thank you. Yes?
Hello, good afternoon, Undersecretary. I'm Kim Abelia. I'm from an engineering and environmental consulting firm. We have been recently, actually last September, we were in Surigao and we have visited our clients from Surigao del Norte, Surigao del Sur, and also we have been to the Mines and Geosciences Bureau, and we have met with the regional director. They have relayed their concern about the climate change. They're having problems with the tailings dam because the tailings dam, sir. Yes. So actually before that, we've also gone to MGB Central, and they're also looking for solutions for the tailings dam. So I'm not sure if it's my. As an environmental consulting firm, sir, I think this would be, or this might be a concern in the future. So maybe we should look at it because their concern here is that the tailings dam, some of the, so a few or just a little bit percentage of the mining companies in Surigao have some breakage, ganon. And yeah, you might look at this concern.
Yeah, that's true. In fact, we have a lot of companies that experience the same problem. And we file charges and even slap sizable amount of penalty. No? So I think that is responsibility of the mining companies to address their tailing dams. In fact, there is value in these tailings. It's not actually waste. The company can actually maximize the tailings in the pond. No? But of course, we are monitoring. The EMB monitors this, and MGB monitors the progress of this tailing fund, so that it will not incur accident or like what we have recently in Davao. So I think it is, we will keep on reminding the companies that they should be addressing this concern.
Any more questions? Yes?
Hello. Hi, sir. I'm Ian Tablos of S&P Global Commodity Insights. And from your presentation, one of the goals from the roadmap was increasing production value. And a bullet point from phase 3 was the addition of smelters and refineries across the country. And in relation to Ms. Kim's question, where she visited Surigao, where we have a lot of nickel mines there, and with nickel being our key to being a global player during the Green Revolution, does the roadmap mean that we have, or DNR has a plan of encouraging our nickel mines to further process our ore rather than shipping directly to international refineries?
Actually, not only smelters. We are proposing that the processing plants be established in some of these areas. But of course, we need to consider the viability of this processing plant of smelting. But the essence here is that instead of exporting the raw ore abroad, wherein even the soils are being exported and the process are being done elsewhere, abroad, why not maximize these ores here, and then we can have a value-added features if we process these ores here instead of the raw ore being exported. So I think if we can process our ore here, it will be more efficient and sustainable instead of extracting and destroying our resources and import somewhere else. Nandito pa yung soil natin, mapoprotektahan pa natin.
Any other questions? I see no other hands. So with that, I think we can thank Usec, Jonas R. Leones, for his valuable insights and his candor in answering all of our questions this afternoon. And
thank you, Senyo. Thank you very much. And rest assured that under new administration, as one of us mentioned, that there will be change in this coming administration. And I think the Secretary is aware of the importance of the industry. And I think I appeal to everyone that we rally behind our Secretary and the DNR, and rest assured that we will also support the industry in the way possible. Thank you very much for everyone.
thank you, Usec Leones. And now I would like to call Cicel Aquino Fajardo of Terragril to present a plaque of appreciation to our esteemed guests. Just a few announcements before we go this afternoon. Oh, and of course, the awaited raffle. If you have not put your business cards in this basket, please do so. Last call for your business cards. You have a few seconds to do so. How many are we picking? 3. 3 gifts will be raffled.